All right, hey guys. All right, we're starting chapter 1 today, and I do apologize as I'm doing this video. It is dismissal time, so you're going to hear some noise on the intercom and the radio. I'll try to turn my radio down. All right, let's get started. Our I can statement today is I can describe the relationship between two place value positions. And this should sound really familiar to you because we did almost the exact same thing as this with decimals, only this time we're going to be working with whole numbers. So the very first thing I want to look at is the number here that I've written, 3,333. And we did this with decimals, and we look at each place value position. And if you remember, every place value to the left of a number is 10 times the value of that same number before it. So let me explain. This 3 in the tens place is worth 10 times more than the 3 in the ones place because this 3 is worth 30. This 3 is worth 3. And when you multiply 3 by 10, you get 30. All right. And the same thing works with, I wanted to show you guys base 10 blocks. I know you're at home this year and you can't, or a lot of my students are at home and we can't really touch these things for the in-person guys. But when you think about, and I actually had a little ones cube, but I seem to have lost it. But you all remember a little ones cube is just one of these tiny little cubes on a 10 rod. And so when you multiply one of these by 10, you get an entire 10 rod. So this 10 rod is 10 times as much as one ones cube. And then the same thing works with a 100 splat. There's 10 of the 10 rods in a 100 splat. So this is worth 10 times as much as this. And then the same thing works for a thousands block. There's 10 of the 100 splats inside of the thousands block. So this is 10 times as much as the 100 splat. And then you can work opposite as well. And remember we talked about with decimals that when you're thinking about the place value to a right of a number, it's worth 1/10 of the value of the number to its left. So we could do the opposite here. This is 10 times as much as this, but the 100 splat is 1/10 the value of the thousands block. The 10 rod is 1/10, 1 out of 10 of what exists here in the 100 splat. And then same thing for the ones cube, 1/10 of the 10 rod. So there's a little review of place value. You all worked a lot more with these in earlier grades. Let's look at this same thing with, let's finish this number, 3,333. So 10 times as much as 30 is 300. That's what this 3 is worth in the hundreds place. And 10 times as much as 300 is 3,000. All right? So that is working to the left. Each place value is 10 times as much as the one before it. But now let's work to the right. So this 300 is 1/10 of, all right, of 3,000. This 30 is 1/10 of 300. And this 3 is 1/10 of 30, all right? So we're working to the right, and it's 1/10 of. All right, so now that you've got the pattern down, let's fill out this table here. All right, so I want to start with the number 10. We just did this with our 10 rod and our 100 flat. 10 times as much as 10 is 10 times 10.
Plus 21 to the GM,
Sorry.
that's 48.
That's 100.
21 to the GM.
Okay? And 1/10 of the number 10, and when you work with these tables in Think Central, be careful. It's not talking about 1/10 of this number. It's talking about 1/10 of the number you started with. So 1/10 of 10 would be 10 divided by 10, all right, which is 1, okay? Or 1 times 10 will give you 10. So we're thinking about 1 10 flat here, okay? I'm sorry, 1 10 rod. 10 times that is 10. Okay. All right. Now let's look at a different number. Let's look at 3,000. All right. 10 times as much as 3,000 is just going to add another 0, place value. Okay. So that would be 30,000. Okay. 30,000 is 10 times as much as 3,000. I'm just moving another 3 to the left in the 10,000s place. And then 1/10 of 3,000 would be 1 0 less than 3,000. 300. Okay? So I would be dividing 3,000 by 10, and that would give me 300. Okay? Or you can ask yourself what number times 10 would give me 3,000, and that would be 300. Let's look at a different number. What about 800? Okay? 10 times as much as 800 is 8,000. Okay? Adding a 0 there, another place value to the left, or the 8 is moving one place value to the left in the thousands place. And 1/10 of, the opposite is happening with the 8. It's moving one place value to the right to make it 80, because 800 divided by 10 is 80. Okay? And then let's do one more. Let's do the number 50. 50 times 10 is 500. That's what 10 times as much is. And 1/10 of 50, or 50 divided by 10, is just 5. 5 times 10 is 50. So hopefully you're seeing a pattern here. And once you learn that pattern, this becomes really, really easy. Okay? Now, on your Think Central assignment, I'm going to move the camera so you can see this a little bit more. Hopefully y'all are enjoying my M&M shirt. It's Halloween here at school today. I'm taping this on Friday. You might see some sentences or some comparison sentences like this. So I'm just looking to make sure my face is still on there. 500 is 10 times as much as what number? Now this is tricky. Let's read it one more time, a little bit slower. 500, the number 500, is 10 times as much as what number? So what that's asking you is, what number is 1/10 of 500? Because it's saying 500 is the number that's 10 times as much as what number? And so if you look here, 10 times as much as 500 is not on this, or 500 is 10 times as much as, if you work to the left, it's 50. I had to even think about it too there, okay? So it's asking about the number that's technically 1/10 of, even though you don't see 1/10 anywhere in this comparison sentence. It's all about the way they word these, so make sure you read them carefully. And number 2, 900 is 1/10 of, but it's not asking what's 1/10 of 900. It's saying 900 is 1/10 of what number that is greater than it, or 10 times as much as 900. And that would be 9,000. 900 is 1/10 of 9,000. Okay? So these are tricky with the way these are worded, and you're going to see a few of these tricky ones in Think Central. So just be careful about that. Just because you don't see the 1/10 inside of this sentence, it doesn't mean that it's not asking for that. And just because you don't see the 10 times as much phrase in this comparison sentence doesn't mean it's not asking for that. So just be careful. All right. That was a lot in a short amount of time. Hopefully this will help you, and you can refer back to it as you practice today.